Hello, and welcome to another edition of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources, a program that is sponsored by the Council on Chemical Abuse and the People Chronicles. My name is Yvonne Stroman. I'm the Community Program Specialist at the Council on Chemical Abuse, and today we want to talk with you about accessing services, more specifically accessing drug and alcohol services for our young people. With me to do that is a specialist from the task, and I'm going to ask her if she wouldn't mind introducing herself and giving us a little bit of scope about what she does at task.
Thanks, Yvonne. My name is Melani Calabria. I'm the lead clinical evaluator at Treatment Access Services Center, also known as TASC. Basically what we do is we provide screening services, assessments, and treatment referrals, so whether it's outpatient, inpatient, or detox services.
Okay, and so those people, or the folks that come to task seeking services, are usually the folks that don't have their own insurance, correct?
Yes.
And so part of that is them coming to you to get services, and public dollars are provided.
Yes.
Those public dollars come through the Council on Chemical Abuse as part of the Single County Authority. But I wanted to have a conversation with you, Melani, to talk a little bit more about young people. Yes. Because oftentimes when people think about seeking drug and alcohol services, they think about adults, quite honestly.
Correct.
From everything from detox to inpatient to outpatient to recovery. Folks usually think about adults.
Yes.
But we can't dismiss that there's a growing number of young people that are in need of treatment. And you really do a yeoman's job, a fantastic job at helping young people get the services that they need. So talk to us a little bit about the similarities and perhaps the differences for young people seeking treatment versus adults.
Basically, there really is no difference in how we assess a juvenile versus an adult.
Okay.
Our assessment tools are a little different. For the adolescent, it's geared more towards, schooling and home life. We do use different placement criteria. We have to use the ASAM for juveniles versus PCPC for adults. And also there's different programs for adults versus adolescents.
And the ASAM is the American Medical, am I saying that right, screening?
American Society of Addiction Medicine.
Okay.
Yes.
I knew something about that.
You were close,
And
yes.
then the PCPC is the Pennsylvania Placement Criteria.
Pennsylvania Client Placement Criteria. Yes.
All right. Okay. So this is why she's a professional, and I'm just sitting asking questions. So in those tools, particularly the ASAM for the young people, that really helps determine their level of care.
Correct. Yes.
And how easily, because I'm thinking, young people who say that they don't have a problem, perhaps. We know that addiction, one of the symptoms of addiction is denial.
Correct.
But more so for young people who says, I'm good, there's no problem here. Is how do you formulate that relationship? Because I think it really helps to begin to have that conversation with young people by formulating that relationship.
They come into my office or I go see them, and it's, a quick rapport. I'm an aunt of 8 nieces and nephews, so I know how to, work with kids a little bit. So they're open, and they're just really quick to, divulge information. So most of the kids that I work with do not, resist giving me information. So they're pretty good to work with for the most part.
Yeah. Is there the treatment, is that as readily available in our community for young people versus adults? I know adults.
There's the bed situation.
Yes.
We can only make referrals to 2 facilities right now for adolescents that we're contracted with for Berks and also for CCBH. Beds are usually available pretty quickly. Outpatient services, they're also readily available. It's not the same case for adults as far as inpatient is concerned.
Okay. And how do you get the referrals? How do you find out how do young people get referred to you? Is that through the schools, through the parents, a little bit of both?
It's the entire community.
Okay.
That would go through juvenile probation, CYS referrals, parent referrals, school referrals. There's also an Act 53. Act 53 is a state mandated assessment through the courts.
Okay.
A child is not on juvenile probation, but it has to come from the parent. If they suspect that their child is using or needs some sort of drug and alcohol treatment,
Yes.
they can request this Act 53 at the juvenile probation office.
Okay.
And then they will call and schedule an appointment at task.
Well, what about if it's not through juvenile probation? Can I, as a parent, if I determine that my child may have a drug and alcohol problem, how could I go and to see to it that my child was able to get an assessment that they're maybe not involved with juvenile probation?
I mean, you can just call and we could, schedule an appointment possibly,
Okay.
depending on the insurance. If there's private insurance involved, unfortunately, we cannot do the
Okay.
assessment. If there's no insurance, if there's medical assistance, yes, absolutely 100% we can do the assessment.
Okay.
We have no way of we don't have a contract with private insurance at this point. So
I understand.
So we cannot take anybody with private insurance.
Okay.
That includes adults as well.
Okay. So, but for the uninsured, though, if I'm a parent, I don't have any insurance, I can contact
Correct.
and say,
Yep.
this is my concern. And bringing my child in, having a conversation with you, what's that timeline? How long does that take?
The assessment process could take anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. I'm pretty quick, so I may be
Okay.
around the 90-minute,
Okay.
2-hour mark. Maybe to get an assessment, it could be a week or two. So
Now, Melanie, could I, as a parent, mandate my child to go to treatment?
no.
No. Okay.
No, a child
Okay.
has the right to refuse services provided by task. We cannot force anyone into treatment,
Okay.
But the child will face consequences at home.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And also the other question that I'm thinking, what if I'm a young person? What if I'm a 16-year-old and I've come to that point because I've been constantly being, faced with consequences, been suspended from school, had a citation because I wasn't attending school, those kind of things. And I think maybe I need Inpatient. Could I come see you and not necessarily have my parents involved?
Yes.
I could?
Yes.
Okay. What would need to happen how could I do that? Would I just need to give you a call and just say, my name is so-and-so and I think I need some help with my addiction?
Yep, they can call.
Okay. How about if my parents have insurance, though? Does that get a little tricky?
It does get tricky because it has to go through the insurance.
Okay.
It goes case by case. I mean, if a child is really seeking treatment and they don't want their parents to know,
Yeah.
I could request funding from the council.
Okay.
So it's all case by case. So I will request funding.
Okay.
If that's the case.
All right. So there is first help available for
Yes.
adolescents
Yes.
that need treatment. And I'm asking you a lot of questions about inpatient, but there are outpatient
Yes.
services available for young people as well.
Yes.
Okay. And would those be free if I don't have insurance?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. No copays.
Okay. And what are the benefits of inpatient versus outpatient?
For adolescent outpatient, I don't think the services are, how should I put this? You're going to get more services with your inpatient.
Okay.
With outpatient, you're only going maybe 1 to 2 times a week for an hour, hour and a half.
Okay.
Most of the adolescents are not reliable enough to go
Yeah.
to outpatient, so typically an inpatient referral is made and then they'll go to outpatient. And it's not to discredit any of the agencies in the area, but I don't think 1 to 2 times for an hour and a half would suffice for an adolescent.
Yeah.
So.
And as you're sharing that, I'm thinking the involvement of a youth's developing brain,
Yeah.
cognitively speaking, they may need that ongoing inpatient support
Yes.
to really help them become educated about the impact of drugs on the brain to begin with.
Yes.
And they're going to get that inpatient
Yes.
and the opportunity to kind of process through some of those things that they probably couldn't do in an outpatient
Exactly,
setting.
yes.
Okay. And how has this worked? Because you mentioned that you have nieces and nephews. Do you talk to your nieces and nephews at all about decision making?
We do. I actually have a 21-year-old nephew who has struggled a bit. He just completed an outpatient program. He's doing very well. So he talks to me once in a while about how things are going. I do talk to my nieces and nephews about making good choices. Are these good choices? Are these bad choices? And they know that they can always come to me. So
yeah. So part of my asking that question was, can you kind of expound on how the work that you're doing at Task, working with young people, how does that impact your life personally and professionally?
Personally and professionally, wow. Working with the adolescents has allowed me to further my career. I have recently gotten 2 state certifications.
Wonderful.
And I just lost my train of thought. I've made a lot of friends working with all of the agencies, long-lasting friendships in the agency. So I am a reliable source for the community agency, so they all know that they can come to me if they have any problems. So,
and your work, it really does expound into the community in that you're working with the schools, you're working with children and youth, you're working with juvenile probation, you're working with parents, and you're also working with the other service providers that provide services to young people. And so it's important, that your knowledge actually really, gets out there into really those places that it's really needed. And I have no doubt that parents have probably called upon you in times whereby you sent their child, to get help, and then they've called on you because they still need additional information.
It's happened.
So how can somebody who might be viewing this podcast, if they have additional information about services and getting help for their young person, how can they? Is there a phone number that they can contact and connect with you?
My direct line is 610-988-0689. I'm more likely not to answer that phone because I'm always up and down in my office.
Sure.
I prefer email, and that's mcalabria, CALABRIA, @berkstask.org.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming and talking to us about how adolescents can get access to treatment. And I would invite those that might be viewing this podcast, if you'd like more information on the Council on Chemical Abuse, we invite you to visit our website at www.cocaberks.org, that's COCABERKS.org, or give us a call, 610-376-8669. This is Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. My name is Yvonne Stroman. We thank you for joining us. Have a great day.
Check back every week for a new story with Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org, COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.